Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Pete.
I'm Sean.
Welcome to this episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us as we can collecting. Unfortunately, we got some bad news last night in the nerd community. Chadwick Boseman, the actor that played T'Chaka in the Black Panther films and other roles in some other fantastic films, unfortunately passed away yesterday from a uh, a bout of a battle with colon cancer. Um, I wanted to do a little bit of a stream just for us to talk about him and what he had given to our community. Talk about some of the figures that some of the fantastic figures that have been made. Uh, of his character, and we'll just chat for a little bit. We don't really have a show sheet or a script or anything, but I felt like last night was a bit too raw for us to give some thoughts. But now that we've had a little bit of time to process it, uh we'll just go from here. So what do you guys how are you guys feeling about everything?
Yeah, it was just really sad. I saw it about 7 o'clock in the morning. We were just waking up, and the other half had it on the phone, and she's like, "Oh no!" And and it was a complete surprise, obviously, because none of us, nobody knew, obviously apart from his close family, that he was ill.
Yeah.
And obviously for me, I'm 45 now, so he's 2 years younger than me. And that kind of puts it in perspective as well. That
Yeah.
I don't think of myself as I'm still a young person. And he still had so much to kind of give, as an actor and also as a human being. He always seemed like a really nice guy. So
Yeah.
big loss.
Yeah. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I got it. I got it last night. A buddy of mine sent it to me, and I was just in shock. He was so young, and to know all the great things, and it hit hard just because being a Marvel fan and MCU fan, you know, I would say the first lead actor from most of these movies to pass away like that was very shocking.
Yeah.
Uh, so been reflecting on it all day, but yeah, it's hitting pretty hard right now.
Yeah. um I think these days actors play a much bigger role in our society than um, past, decades with social media and especially the particular role that Chadwick played, being the king of Wakanda. And
Yeah.
uh, I know a lot of my black friends, a lot of my black family members, they really took a lot of the Wakandan culture to heart. It was a very big uh, positive impact
Hmm.
on that culture.
Yeah.
Chadwick obviously being the face of that, and it's when you first get the news, the initial reaction is hopefully it's a like the best case scenario is that maybe some asshole uh hacked his Twitter. You kind of hope for the best. And
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately, as the minutes go on and more of the social media accounts begin to confirm it, and independent sources begin to
Hmm.
confirm it,
Yeah.
it really
Yeah, I think when you wait to see whether it comes on, I mean, for us, it's BBC News or the Telegraph or Sky News, and then then
yeah.
that it's pretty much a real thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that there's certain events that, with this kind of thing that happened, that I think that you'll always remember, like the context of where you were when you found out. I think Robin
Hmm.
Williams is
Yeah, yeah.
I always remember where I was, what I was doing, and who I was with when we found that out. And
And Carrie Fisher, maybe.
yeah, Carrie Fisher as
No.
well.
Hmm.
Paul Walker.
Yeah, Sean,
Yeah,
turn down
yeah.
your mic a little bit. You're coming in really hot. And it's for him to do what he did for many years, because he wasn't just in Black Panther. I think
No.
that's where we know him most of. But for him to have played through so many iconic roles while ill, and I think the initial statement, we'll pull it up here, from his publicist was that he had shot Marshall, Five Bloods, Black Bottom, and much more between surgeries and chemotherapy. I mean, that's incredibly
Unbelievable. Yeah.
unbelievable, especially how physically demanding some of those roles were. I mean, I think it's pretty remarkable. I know, in past years, we had seen some photos of him at different events, and it kind of became a little bit of I don't want to say a meme, but people were saying like, oh, like this guy is tired of the Wakanda Forever thing. And, I think that a lot of outlets had kind of joked about it, but I think it really goes to show that, even though they're famous, I mean, they are actual people and struggle with things that any of us might unfortunately have to go through as well. And so I know we saw him back in February and then back again in April. And in both of those appearances, they were pre-recorded. One was for Kobe Bryant's passing. They had some different celebrities reenacting some iconic Kobe poses.
Okay.
And then again in April for Jackie Robinson Day. And in both of those appearances, he looked, not what we had remembered him as. And we had actually had it on the show sheet to talk about it because we were pretty concerned. But I think the understanding from a lot of people was that he was just losing weight for a role.
Right.
And at that point, it became less of a thing to talk about, like, hey, is something going on here? Once his publicists and everyone said, oh, he's just losing weight for a role, we just kind of wrote it off as
way to kind of
that's what it was. But
cover it up. Yeah.
Unfortunately. But it's really rough. We'll play this clip here of Chadwick talking about let me see if I can get this to play through my headphones.
All of it's been very personal. Just
can you hear that, Pete?
Yeah.
And for me, I would say, there are two little kids, Ian and Taylor, who recently passed from cancer. And throughout our filming, I was communicating with them, knowing that they were both terminal. And what they said to me is and their parents said they're trying to hold on till this movie comes. And I, to a certain degree, you hear them say that and you're like,
yeah, incredibly brave, for him to be doing that. And by all indications, this was something that he battled very privately. Not a lot of his people outside of his circle really knew what was going on. And Tony says, wish it was a better circumstances. It's shocking news. What a brave human being. And it really goes to show that we never know when when our time will come, or how it will come. And it's it's really crazy. Looking at some different people that have made some tributes here. Kamala Harris says, heartbroken, my friend and fellow Bison, Chadwick Boseman was a brilliant, kind, learned, and humble. He left too early, but his life made a difference. Sending my sincere condolences to his family. Barack Obama says Chadwick came to the White House to work with kids when he was playing Jackie Robinson. You could tell right away that he was blessed to be young, gifted, and Black, to use the power to give them heroes to look up to do it all while in pain. What a use of his years. It's Marvel Entertainment here says our hearts are broken and our thoughts are with Chadwick Boseman's family. Your legacy will live on forever. Rest in peace. It's really crazy, man. I think this one really it really hit hard because of what we do and the things that we enjoy.
Yeah, I think you can't help but have massive respect for him in terms of the fact that he clearly felt very strongly about the character of Black Panther, and pushed himself to, if you like, film the actual film itself, but also to kind of finish his part in the whole Marvel saga, and also I suppose to leave a financial legacy for his family as well.
Yeah, that's really true.
Mm.
This was the last to this point the last Hot Toys that we got of Chadwick, the Black Panther solo film, and it's a really fantastic figure. I mean, I think that Hot Toys put a lot of care into this figure.
Mm-hmm.
I owned it for a short while. Then a few months back, I sold it to my good friend Eric. But the one thing that I caution everyone from doing at this point is going out and being taken advantage of by the scalpers, because it seems at this point that unfortunately the demand for these figures now is outpacing the supply, and we're in a sort of seller's market at this point. I definitely would, if you really want a Chadwick Boseman, I would, I would hold off for a little bit. I think on eBay some of them are going up $1,000 range, and I think that I don't think that any of us should be indulging those that are scalping. I know there was a very minor amount of drama last night with Toys Wonderland, but it ended up being a computer issue, and I mean their explanation seemed perfectly reasonable. So
and they did the right thing. So.
Yeah, they shut down the sales of that figure, but this is a fantastic figure. If you own it or have owned it, I think you're very fortunate to have been able.
I like
to
the fact that a few people had mentioned on Facebook that they had him displayed with the mask helmet on it, that they swapped it over to the Chadwick sculpt kind of in his honor, which was nice to read.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Sean?
I was just going to say, even like at the shop level, at the comic book stores, at the collectible shops too, I hope they do the same thing that they did with Stan Lee when he passes. Like if someone's trying to get this crazy amount for a book or for a figure, that they turn it down, and they're just like, out of respect, we're not going to pick those things up right now. So I mean, just give, like, you got to give it a lot of time, especially for a character like Black Panther. And Zach, I think you said it too, just the amount of physical demand that it took to do some of these videos or some of these movies. And he was dealing with all this kind of stuff at that time. And, we got Black Panther. We got, I'm guessing it's just after Civil War, but then we got Endgame, Infinity War and all that.
Yeah.
I think out of all movies, Black Panther was probably one of the most physical demanding movies, just for the nature of the character. He wasn't flying around. I mean, Captain America is completely physical, but aside from that, a lot of effort being put in to the character.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Quinn says, I have that Civil War Black Panther, no Chadwick sculpt, unfortunately, but I prefer it to the movie one. Yeah, the Civil War figure is actually really good. I think I tend to agree that I think the proportions look a little bit better.
Mhm.
But I mean, Chadwick in any film that he was in, I really feel that he stole every scene he was in, especially in Civil War. It's just I mean, like I said, I really felt like he transcended the role,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
really became something bigger than just your average comic book hero actor.
Mhm.
Those are the two Hot Toys that we have at the moment. There's some speculation that Hot Toys might go in and make a convention exclusive, potentially.
It'd be nice. Yeah.
You know, just like they did with Stanley. I think that would be great. And that's another reason why I'm asking for people to hold off on, scalping themselves to get one of these figures, because I truly think that, after an amount of time, I think that they will
Yeah,
potentially.
and what would be amazing, I'm not sure that they, it's the logistics of it, but obviously, this is different because the other, Stan Lee, Carrie Fisher and stuff, they were, Carrie Fisher still went before her time, but they were people in their latter years, and they'd,
Yeah.
Hi, Dean.
Pete, what's the show?
Hey,
If Hot Toys was to produce one, it'd be amazing if they could say, every one of these we sell, we're going to give $50 to cancer research or something, because this guy it wasn't his time, and he's died from a horrific disease that and colon cancer is one of the hardest ones to treat, because you can't just cut the infected parts away, and that would be an amazing gesture from someone like Hot Toys to say, yes, we're bringing out a new figure, but we're also going to give something back, kind of to honor his legacy, and the terrible disease that he was battling.
Yeah, I
all those
know
years.
I've seen one instance, and there could be more, so don't take this as a negative, but during the tsunami from a few years back, Hot Toys made a special edition Vito Corleone, and
Okay.
they had JC Hong do actual hand paint work on the 10 that they made.
Right.
And it was in a special box, and it had a special certificate, and all of the money that was raised, I think it was like a charity auction for those 10. You couldn't just go to Secret Base and buy them. All of the money that they raised went towards the tsunami relief, and I think that would be I think that'd be a very noble gesture if they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I we'll take a look here at some of his iconic roles, and if you guys haven't seen the movie 42, it's the story of Jackie Robinson, and it was it's a pretty good film. So I would.
Yeah, it's funny because I was I've been having a bit of a tidy up, like everyone has in the whole lockdown thing, and I pulled out a few movies that I hadn't watched for a long time, and one of them was 42. And when I first saw it, obviously I didn't really he wasn't a big name then or anything, and it's funny when the news came, I was like, oh, was that actually him in that? Brilliant movie, love it. And and 21 Bridges, we watched that recently. That was.
Yeah, that's one I still need to watch.
Yeah, it's good.
I've heard it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Draft
That's the
Day
one with the guys from Avengers, the directors, right? 21 Bridges.
the Russos.
Yeah, wasn't that them?
Sean, check your Facebook Messenger real quick.
I'll check it. You're probably right, Dean.
While Pete's checking that, Get On Up 2014, portrayed James Brown to tell the story of the iconic singer's rise to fame.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen that. I need to see that.
Gods of Egypt,
Uh,
Civil War, Message from the King, Marshall, Thurgood Marshall, the lawyer who went on to become the first ever Black Supreme Court justice. This one I really want to see, actually, Marshall. Black Panther, of course, Infinity War, Endgame, 21 Bridges, Five Bloods.
yeah, I've got that in my watch list as well. I haven't got around to that yet. Five
Yeah.
Blood. That's good. Says it was
And
directed by Brian Kirk.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I remember
I
they
was-
did a movie with him after.
Yeah. I'll look them up.
Yeah, it's Dean, I don't think you've had a chance to share your thoughts on everything, but do you want to?
It's sad, man. It's really sad. I mean, I think like most people were blindsided because he was so private that when it was announced, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought it was a hoax. I mean, there's so many of these things all the time that I just didn't believe it. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then like all my chats, with all you guys started blowing up. I was like, oh shit, is this, I guess it's for real. Oh, 21 Bridges, sorry. Yeah, 21 Bridges.
Yeah,
was
you're
them.
right. Yeah, they're
The
the
Russos.
producers.
Maybe they wrote
Yeah,
it.
producers.
Oh, producers. Okay.
Producers. Yeah, I've just got it up.
And I think one of the saddest things about the whole thing, I mean, other than he's now deceased, which is the saddest thing, but almost every group I was in was like, well, his stuff's gonna go up in price now, which is just a really sad thing, and and I think it's gross. But sometimes that's kind of like the kick in the balls some people need to be like, you know what, like I've been putting this off for a long time, but at the same time it's the people that are taking advantage of it that's gross, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't have a Black Panther in my collection. Would I like one? Yeah, sure. I think most of the time his prices were too high for me. It's definitely going to be too high now. But it was almost like, for me, I was like, oh man, that sucks. Like I wish I had that figure, but I could forget about looking for it now. And sure enough, dude, Rainer and I went to a couple comic book stores today here in town, and there was one guy in there buying all the Black Panther stuff he could find, and I was just like,
yeah,
it's
flipping that on eBay.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what he's going to do. He could not.
Yeah.
He could just be trying to get ahead of it. I don't think the prices were jacked up, which was nice to see. But it was like, I mean, he was literally like grabbing every Black Panther thing he could find. So to me, it screamed like, oh, it's just like an opportunist, which is just gross.
Yeah, if he you'd have thought, if he was a massive fan, he'd have owned most of that stuff already.
Yeah, and I would say within the first like hour or two, we were seeing listings of figures for $600, $1,000, and it's like, I mean, do you have any common decency as a human being? Like,
yeah.
It's supply and demand is one thing, but when it's someone who's deceased, and I mean, you're talking literally within hours of the announcement.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no.
It's really sad to see that the collecting community does that. I don't know if you guys touched on that at all. I jumped in late.
A little bit, yeah. It's kind of the dark side of the community, the collecting, isn't it? It's
but I mean, it's just a shame because I like Pete said, when he was in those other movies, it was kind of like, oh shit, that was Chadwick Boseman. I didn't realize that was him. I honestly thought Black Panther was like one of his first movies, or Civil War. I had never heard of him before, and he was 42 years old or 43. I thought he was like my age. I mean, he looked great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I found out, one, he is a lot older, and he's got this long list of movies that he's done that are all so well received. I mean, I don't think there's like a bad movie on that list.
No.
It's just like, it's such a shame, dude, that it's like I didn't get to enjoy his career I guess the way I would have liked.
Yeah, because it's funny because I was saying to the guys that for me it's sort of from the other side because I've recently turned 45, so he's 2 years younger than me, and I don't consider myself to be any great age or anything. It's really sad, to see any life cut off that short, but for somebody that obviously was, a hero to so many people as a human being and as the roles he played, and he just seemed like a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, I was watching there's on Netflix. There's a Kevin Hart documentary. Where,
yes, I've watched it.
Yeah, where it documents kind of right before the whole debacle with the Oscars and then the fallout. And in a few of the scenes, Chadwick Boseman and him are talking about just, I don't know, I think they wanted to do like an album together or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, man, he's so nice. Like he's so like even behind the scenes, he's so like humble and like relaxed, and he just looked like a nice dude. And I think someone mentioned earlier he had given a speech about kids.
We
touched on that.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, how many people really knew he was dealing with it himself? And it's like he was so I mean, it's very easy for someone to be like, oh, like, look how tragic my story is, but he just silently fought it himself. And I mean, the people in his immediate circle were with him, which is nice. But it took me by surprise. I was like, wait, what? He was sick? Because there's an older picture of him and he's really thin, and I just assumed it was for a role. Because actors, take their work very seriously. Little did I know it's because he was ill, and like I felt really bad.
Yeah, it's definitely really sad. With everything that happened. I think you guys hit it on the head, though. I think it's in really poor taste for those collectors that are going out there and scalping things. I think on OSR BST there was already someone trying to sell Black Panther for $1,000.
Yeah, and there's been to literally within minutes, rubbing their hands together, So did they? They clearly didn't really love the character that much anyway. That it was just, as soon as they could flip it for.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I was lucky enough to have, or not lucky enough, I drug my heels on buying the figure. You know what I mean? Which we've probably done on how many characters, If I was a genuine fan, which I am, and this happens, I would clutch onto it. You know what I mean? Like holy shit! Like I actually have this thing.
Yeah, you'd feel privileged that you actually owned it. Yeah,
right, because it might not ever get re-released. Hot Toys may not do the thing Pete was talking about, where they re-release a small batch number and donate the money. They might not do that.
Nah.
And even if they did, those are really expensive. They're not,
I just meant do it as a general release. If they bring out another figure, just say that a portion of it is going to the charity. People would pay that probably on top to knowing that they were.
I just think it speaks to someone's character that instead of celebrating the fact that they own a piece of that band's legacy, they're trying to flip it for
Yeah,
an
yeah.
unreasonable amount of
Yeah,
money.
exactly. Well, I mean, the day I heard that Carrie Fisher died, there was no way that I was ever going to let go of any of my Leia figures
Right.
because
Yeah.
I loved that character and I and I loved her, and that was never a consideration to sell them.
Right.
You know.
Danny says if someone had a Hot Toys
Mm.
Panther listed prior to the passing, should they take the listing down? I mean, I
If
think
you were trying to sell it, I mean that's one thing. But if you
Yeah.
take
if
it
you
down
just
and then jack
cashed
up the
in,
price,
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think there's, I don't know, maybe give like a. I mean, unless you're like really hard up for money, I would just take my auction down for, I don't know, a few
Just leave
weeks.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I know for sure on Ox we're not going to allow any Black Panther stuff
Hmm. Yeah.
for a little bit. Louis says local comic shop has it here for $600. It's a Civil War version. The
I mean,
Civil
that
War
figure-
version is quite expensive, so the local shops that I've seen that had it have it really expensive even before this happened.
Mhm.
So it could be that
Yeah.
it was not $250 yesterday, but that could be maybe the price that it's always been at.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
that's just
this-
speculation. I wouldn't put it past the shop to do that, but
Now we
know.
gave away a Civil War Black Panther.
it was the worst thing we've ever done, dude.
We gave it away. We had a group giveaway, and it was like, oh, if you do this, you get an entry. If you do that, you get an entry. And yeah, somebody won it. And I thought about that today. I was like, man, like somebody really deserving could have gotten that figure.
It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the agreement was if you won, you had to shoot us a unboxing for marketing for the channel, and this
Yeah,
guy never
content.
shot us.
It never even said thank you.
Yeah, never even paid me back the money to ship it because he didn't want to pick it up.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I don't want to pick it up. Can you ship it to me? And Zach was like,
I mean, I guess.
yeah, like you live in the same town, you could just meet me. And we gave him several opportunities to meet us, and he just wouldn't.
Weird.
Tony says, I can't believe he was suffering with this for 4 years during all his Marvel roles. Incredible testament to his character to keep working during what must have been hell. Yeah, it's very true, Tony.
Yeah, that's kind of what like surprised me the most. It was like this whole time, like holy shit. It's not like it happened overnight and it just like progressed rapidly. It's like he's been silently battling this, and it's just like Tony said, it's just a testament to his character. Like and yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one thing real quick. Yeah, if you guys want to keep this going, I'm trying to look up this thing real quick.
I just think 2020 fucking sucks, dude.
I don't
Yeah,
really
we didn't-
subscribe to those ideas. Like any year, celebrities will pass. That's just a
Yeah,
a
but
given. But every year I see that thing like, oh, like 2017 really sucks, 2018 really sucks, 2019 like because important people pass but I mean 2020 is just a rough one. But
yeah, it's
But it could also be one of the most incredible if a certain Mr. Trump doesn't get back in.
I was thinking about that today. I was like, how many people are going to be so upset?
And I'm speaking as an Englishman, and it's not really my concern, but I feel for you guys.
yeah, let me pull this up real quick. So this was back in February. He had done some pre-shot.
I'm sorry, Leonardo. That sucks, man.
What did Leonardo say?
Oh
man, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Let's go back here. So this was back in February.
We do. Your life has meant so much to so
Oh,
many people.
yeah.
I can't even put into words how much, because I didn't know how much it meant. I knew I loved Kobe, but I didn't know I loved him as much as I did.
Oh man, I love you, Kobe. Just for love, man. So
Trying to find. Nope. I thought they showed the shot.
My last words to both of them,
They did. It was
Yes,
right
my
after they started
I'll see
talking.
y'all when I get there.
With his arms up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was looking at the comments.
Yeah, right there. There you go.
Hmm.
Yeah. And back then, he did look, a little ill in those photos, but again, it was just, rumored to be for a role, and we've seen actors like Christian Bale drop 100 pounds for a role,
Yeah.
and I mean they look very gaunt, but that's when you're an
Yeah.
actor like that, you're willing to do that. And Dean, I had mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if you had listened, but we had it on our show sheet way back in April when we first saw him with the Jackie Robinson Day, and we weren't sure if he had been ill or what, but there was not really any sources that were saying anything. It just seemed like it was for a role, and we took it off because we're like, if it's for a role, there's not really this happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember you showing me that picture specifically because you were concerned.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's probably for a role because, like you said, it's something actors do all the time.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, the rumors came out. I was like, oh, it's for a role. And so I was like, yeah, see, like,
Yeah.
it's whatever. But I mean, it's it fucking sucks, man. And I feel bad because that is Black Panther supposed to be a franchise carrying character.
Hmm.
And it's just like it's one of those things like I mean, thankfully he's still alive, but Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. leaves the role. I don't think you can fill that role with anyone else.
No.
And it's going to be really hard for the next guy to come in and do the character justice, and also, Chadwick.
I mean, I really feel like it's too soon to have that discussion.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
But also, I feel like, for me personally, because we had mentioned it earlier, Dean, that Chadwick, with everything going on with these past few years within the Black community, he had really transcended the role of just being another comic actor to being like a real icon
Yeah.
for the Black
Yeah.
community. And
that's what I'm saying.
I think for me, it would be tremendously disrespectful to recast the role. I think they have to do some rewriting of their
that's what
potential plans.
I was gonna relay it to Princess Leia. You can't recast Leia. You just can't. And I felt like it's the same thing with Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. But I know they had plans for these movies, so yeah, maybe Shuri takes up the mantle, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna have to figure something out, and I don't think you can replace him as Black Panther, because like you said, he like embodied it outside of the silver screen.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
sad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Even in the comics, when Thor and Cap and Iron Man, they kind of hit a low, and they're like, well, who's going to be the new leader of the Avengers? And they even appoint Black Panther as the new chairman of the Avengers, and kind of leave it to him to run the team and the integrity of the team. And I agree. Like, I don't think they should recast, but I guess that's a conversation for another time. But even in the comics, due to the movies, they were kind of pushing Black Panther to be that next leader of the team.
Yeah, I think it was just the current state of the world, and
I think like you said, Dean, I think they have to go the way that if and when Marvel kind of does reboot all of those characters, which no doubt they will at some point, that the same with Tony, you don't recast Tony Stark, but you have a new Iron Man. So whether it's the kid from Iron Man 3 or somebody else, it's not Tony Stark, but someone else has taken on Iron Man.
Right.
You've got to do the same with Black Panther, whether it's Shuri or someone else. It's see Black Panther as a position, as something that you become, and then obviously then anybody could be it really, and then
Right.
that doesn't, and then that still preserves his memory as the previous Black Panther,
Yeah.
but you can still kind of run with with that character in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
In the same way that the Falcon has taken on the Captain America persona now. So
I think that's I think we're good for today. I think
yep.
you know, we were never gonna do this as a formal episode. I think it was more just to talk about some of these things before our next show's recording. So
Yeah.
Big shout out to everyone that tuned in. This is obviously an episode that we really didn't want to have to do, but unfortunately the things happened the way they did, and I felt like it really deserved its own episode prior to us giving some thoughts in the next one. So
Yeah, I agree, because it was like, for me especially, because we'd just done OFAC a couple of days ago. I felt bad that we couldn't talk about this for like nearly 2 weeks.
Right.
So when you suggested that we could talk about it tonight, I thought that was really a good thing, because then we could all talk about it while it's fresh, and it's not kind of having to delay it for our own individual shows. So yeah, it was, thanks for sorting that out, Zach.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Sean and Dean. I think Sean's next episode is coming out, I believe, on Sunday or Monday. We just had small drop today, and then this episode, it'll probably just drop sometime this weekend on the audio platform. But hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week. Again, thanks everyone that watched live for tuning in.
Yeah.
And
tell everyone in your life that you love them. Don't let it don't let that moment just I'll tell them later.
Yeah.
Dean, I love you.
I love you too, buddy. I love all you guys. Everyone in here.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat. All right, guys. I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm
Sorry.
Pete.
I'm Sean.
Catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.